Welcome back, everybody, to the Blazer Victory podcast. John Duncan here, and I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Darion Smith. And guys, UAB was able to get it done on the football field yesterday, 41-21 over the North Texas Mean Green, which allows UAB to improve to 5-5 on the season and 3-4 in Conference USA, just needing one more win these next 2 weeks to get to bowl eligibility. But Darian, what a game, man! I don't even know where to start. I guess let's start here. How about Debo getting the single season rushing touchdown record, 17 for this year, breaking Spencer Brown's record, and also just having a 10th straight game having over 100 rushing yards. And I don't even think he was the best back on the field yesterday, and that's crazy to
Yeah,
say.
I didn't know he reached over 100 yesterday. To be
Yes.
honest, because he was him and Skull was really splitting those carries.
Dude, we need to talk about Skull, right? Like, hey, that's great for Debo. Debo, another good game. But hey, I think Skull played his best game of the year by far yesterday.
Yeah, Skull is a complete back. Like he he was finding the holes. He was accelerating through. Had that ball wrapped up tight. Wasn't missing any blocks. Like I don't know, man. He was just Johnny on the spot. He's like the Grayson Cash of offense, right? Just
Yes.
where he's supposed to be, just making plays. I'm glad at the end we were able to get him one. Because of course Debo is about 215, 220. Of course Debo is the better goal line back, so it just makes sense to put Debo there. But I'm glad we were able to get Skull one at the end. But he was extremely explosive. His vision was on display yesterday. He was a patient runner. He let his blocks form, and then bam, he'll cut back. He just
Yes.
and as an offensive lineman, you love when the back correctly follows your block and you see them, boom, they're gone. So I think his vision and his acceleration really was on display. He made all the right plays yesterday.
Right. Skull ends up 24 carries for 150 yards. And as Darian just mentioned, got that late touchdown. Good to see him get on the board. And of course, Debo had 3 rushing touchdowns today to break the season rushing touchdown record for UAB. But overall, 21 carries for 120 yards. But yeah, definitely, as I just mentioned, Skull, best game of the season. It was great to see him get going. Um, I don't know if maybe something was bothering Debo. I mean, he still ended up getting 21 carries, but I don't know. Maybe I'm looking in too deep into things. But hey, when you've got Skull performing the way he was performing yesterday, I mean, you got to give him more carries, and that's exactly what Bryant Vincent did. And man, also another guy that was great to see back on the field, Dylan Hopkins. Now the stats weren't great, 15 to 23, hey, 234 still, one touchdown, but you like that, 0 interceptions. It was great to just have our leader back on the field. Darren, QB1 was back yesterday.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to tell everybody when Dylan Hopkins like, hey, DeMar Jackson, and when he
Yes.
when he's on the field and he's healthy, like I can feel it and I can see it. The type of quarterback he's transformed into. He is confident. He makes good decisions. One throw we were scared. He kind of threw it in the coverage and bam, it was who was that caught that pass? Was it?
Hell of a catch from Fred Farrier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the Fred Ferry across the middle. We were like, oh no, no, oh go. But
Right.
yeah, they could have easily been 2 touchdowns if it wasn't for a BS
Oh,
holding call.
that was a crap call. They called Rudolph on that holding call. Like, we were looking at it on the jumbotron, and I mean, he let go of the guy's left shoulder. Like, when you let go, like, you shouldn't call. If he would have held onto it and completely turned the defender around, then yes, you throw the holding flag. But that was messed up. And there was also a pass interference call on defense for UAB that I still don't know how they called that. I don't know that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like that one. I forgot about that one. The Phantom call.
Yes, those two, like, I'm gonna go back and rewatch the film today, but those two, like, just watching it in person and then watching the replay on the jumbotron, like, I don't agree with either one of those.
No, horrible calls. And I remember when they called that on Rudolph. Number 13 was the guy he was blocking. I was like, dude, just need to get in the weight room. What you
Right.
gonna do? Like, you can't throw a flag on the dude because he's being bullied. Like, that's stupid. This is football. But anyway, like just going back to Dylan, I think his command, and presence over the team, I really do think this season goes totally different is if he doesn't go down.
I
But
agree.
yeah, I don't know. It's like he exudes a type of confidence um that you can feel coming from the team, coming from him, and it come through the team. And I feel like we perform different when he's out there. I don't know. I think it's his command on the playbook at this point in his career, mixed with his talent. But I feel more confident when he's out there. And so I know the team does as well, and I feel like the playbook is more open. Even though Zeno did have a really good game at UTSA, and I think he probably just needed time and just needed, we probably should have been getting him ready, but it's kind of hard to do that in
Right.
the season. So yeah, good game from Dylan again.
Definitely. And hey, you look at the offense yesterday, Darian, total yards 505, but the key stat was UAB converting 13 of 17 third downs. And
Mm.
then, go for it and going for it twice on fourth down and converting one of those. So UAB did not have to punt the ball one time
Oh
yesterday.
wow.
That is crazy. And that's what, like, if anybody from the SID department is listening, I don't know if that's ever happened before. If UAB's ever had a game, at least that they won, that where they didn't have to punt against an FBS team, I would be interested to see if it has happened before. But I sure as heck can't remember it happening before. And you kind of hate it, Darian, because it's senior day. Kyle Greenwell, our fantastic punter, doesn't get to hit the field on senior day. But hey, I bet if you asked him, I'm sure he would agree to where he wouldn't want to get out there and punt. That just means a good day on the offensive side of the ball for UAB when your punter doesn't have to hit the field one time.
Yeah, I think punters understand that nobody ain't really here to like see us punt.
Right.
Like, oh dang. But it's like one of those things to like if we do have to punt, okay, well do your thing with it. Let's see if you can, get pin them within their 10 or their 5. If we have to do it, that's cool. But I ain't here to
No.
see how well we're gonna punt. But I'm glad, that's a good send off if you ask me for Kyle. Man, I'm just proud of the team as a whole, you know.
Me too. They showed they wanted it today or yesterday, which is really good to see.
Yeah, it was good to see that will. I was questioning to see if they were still gonna have that fire or were they gonna be like, season's over. We can't reach our goals. But no, they came out, set the tone from the beginning with Dvorak Bynum on that blitz.
Yes.
It's a great call because we as a team we don't blitz too much, but we sent that slot corner blitz right on the money. Bam, he wasn't looking.
Hmm.
Recovery, Kelly Sanders, who I think you pointed out. I think Kelly Sanders ended up getting hurt sometime in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I must have missed it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. Yeah, but he was in sweats for the second half, so I don't know what happened. But yeah, definitely agree on Bynum having a career day. Had 8 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and 2 TFLs, and a sack and a forced fumble. I mean,
Dang.
that what a way to go out on senior day, yeah, for Devardrick Bynum.
Yeah, that's like Madden stats. Like
Right?
I didn't realize that he had such a dominant game on defense.
He did. He was everywhere. Like he almost a perfect game for Bynum. And a couple other guys I wanted to mention for on the defensive side of the ball that had a heck of a day was again Noah Wilder. He got added 6 more tackles to help move him into third place on UAB's career tackling list. But also Tyler Taylor, man, 9 tackles. Like it just felt like our linebackers. It felt like our defense as a whole, like shut North Texas out in the second half. They had 21 at halftime, but shut them out in the second half. It's going UAB outscored North Texas 24-0 in the second half. Just a dominating game. And honestly, Darian, and one more quick step for the defense too. They held North Texas to just 264 total yards, and coming into this game, I mean, this is one of the most explosive offenses in Conference USA, and UAB
Yes.
really kind of took them to them. Like UAB proved they were the more physical team. UAB wanted this game more than North Texas, I believe. But going into what I was going to say, Darian, I want to give a huge shout out to Bryant Vincent and that coaching staff. And we were talking during the game. This team, this coaching staff made adjustments coming out of halftime, and it sure as hell showed on the football field.
Yes, they made a lot of adjustments, and it was something I want to ask, about this coaching staff as a whole. But first, get to like the on field things. Is we go up 14-0. We start off quick. We on fire. We get the ball out, second half, and they score 21 straight. It seems like we can't really stop their running game. They're hitting us with play action. They out UAB in. Like, they're
Right.
they are consistent running the ball, and they can hit us over the top. Dvorak Random did get mossed on one play by Jair Shorter.
Yeah.
They seem like they have it clicking. They got all the momentum. We managed to get a field goal, to kind of curb their enthusiasm per se.
Yeah.
And then, we would go into halftime. It's 21-17. We kind of stymied. We kind of just slowed their momentum. Oh, my alarm. We kind of slowed their momentum. So then, we come out. And like you said, we make these adjustments. One thing that was happening was, especially first on defense, we were leaky. I was wondering if we just couldn't hold up to them defensively, especially at run game, where they're bigger and stronger, more physical. But we came out and we were able to get them in 3rd and 3 situations. And then once we got them in that situation, it was like we dictated what they did. We would send the guys so they couldn't get those first downs running the ball. So, we run that 3 down front to where it's kind of conservative. Well, we made that 3 down. We walked the linebacker down and we sent the safety, or we sent the linebacker. Like we were plugging up those holes on 3rd and 3 and 4th and 2 and all of that stuff to where they couldn't get those little cheap first downs. And that really killed their. It's like once we started dictating what they were going to do, it really killed them.
They couldn't do anything once we started doing that, and they kind of looked surprised when we started doing that.
Yes, because we've been kind of a conservative defense most of the year. Like, I know we talked about the blitz and the sack fumble by Dvorak Random in the beginning, but a lot of the times we don't blitz until kind of special situations, 3rd and 11s. Or something like that. We'll hit you up sometimes with that linebacker blitz between Noah Wilder and Tyler Taylor. But we don't do much besides that. Shoot, this game we was kind of filling in those gaps, playing up. Will Bowler was coming down, making tackles around the line of scrimmage.
Hey, he made that key stop on that 4th down, that stop when Ani ran that quarterback power to the right, and he came in from the side and hit him. Yeah, that was a key moment in the game.
Right, like guys, so that was a good adjustment. But then the other good adjustment was we noticed when we was running our patented stretch run play.
Oh yeah,
they were crashing their end so hard. So you wonder why we kind of, it seemed like momentum slowed up. If you go back and rewatch, I can guarantee you can see that end was just ignoring Dylan and just screaming. Soon as they realized it was stretch run, the backside end. So if they were running left, it was the right side end, and then vice versa if we went the other way.
Right.
Crashing down the line, and every time we would try to make that cutback right there, you'll see we'll get stood up, boom, boom, boom. Well, we was wondering, like, are we gonna make adjustments? Because we kind of ran into a brick wall. We did it a couple of times. It was frustrating to see in the first half. Man, we came out in the second half and we started running straight at them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it caught him. I don't know if I don't know why it caught him off guard because we was just running regular zone instead of stretch zone.
Right.
But that just opened up lanes and stuff. And to me, that was a great adjustment because we're so known for that stretch run.
Right.
It was cool to see Brian Vincent make those adjustments, and then it was cool to see him let Dylan work and get some dial up some good play action passes for Dylan. We got a couple shots across the middle. What about Tajon Palmer, man?
Ooh, we didn't know he was that fast, man.
Yeah, I thought he was more of an athletic kind of position guy.
Yeah, but man, he turned on the burners there for that 75-yard catch.
Yeah, like I thought they were going to stop him, and then it was like, whoa, hold on, like yeah, that looked like a 4-4 or something like that. But yeah, it was cool to see that coaching staff make the necessary adjustments, especially in the run game. You know, to get the running backs going, and they didn't adjust. It was a very slight adjustment in that point on the offense, and this game, especially in the second half, was so well called.
It was.
Oh, and then we got to mention we complained about the tempo.
Hey, they sped things up today or yesterday. That was good to see. They wasn't no waiting around 20, 30 seconds to get the play calling. They got lined up and got the play in. And I don't know, hey, do you think maybe we were a little too critical the last couple of weeks? Do you think maybe having Dylan out there helped? Like,
oh, of course.
so yeah, I could tell. Like, and you mentioned it earlier that the offense looked a lot more confident with Dylan out there. So that could have been the issue all along. Like, yeah, maybe BV in the last couple of games was taking a little too long to get the play calling, but maybe it was just not having Dylan out there to relay the call to the whole team.
Well, I think we were doing it before Dylan went out. If I can recall, like I remember back in like during the Rice game and stuff like that, we were getting the play call in super late, and it was frustrating to watch. In this game, you can see that they made a concerted effort, or it felt like it, because that play clock was at like 15, and we were already getting ready to run the play, and we had guys down and set and able to look over the field. I was so proud of our tempo.
Yes.
We just had time, and that's something I feel like this offense need. We need time to kind of see where everybody's at, so we are all on the same page. But I saw that. I saw the tempo doing really well. It started. A question started forming in my head, John.
What's that?
All right, just stick with me.
Okay.
Did we watch? Have we been watching Brian Vincent successfully grow?
I think
grow this year, and if we think about the circumstances, in July he realized he was the head coach.
100% agree. I think so. And I think especially, even back to last week, losing to UTSA, but that second half, he called and made adjustments. I'm so proud of this coaching staff, and we've got to give credit where credit's due. And, sometimes are we critical of the coaching staff? Of course we are. We lost, 3 games in a row, and there were 3 games that UAB could have, should have won. But hell of a game called against North Texas for Brian Vincent, was able to make adjustments. Last week, UTSA second half, darn near pulled it off against the Roadrunners. Hell of adjustments made in the second half. And that is a credit to a good coach. So we will definitely say that Brian Vincent throughout this year, especially these last few weeks, through tough circumstances, losing your QB1, was able to make adjustments. And honestly, too, Darion, like you talk about just kind of running right at North Texas. That's what North Texas likes to do on offense. Like they love to run inside zone, straight downfield to you. And UAB gave him a dose of his own medicine, man. Just straight up the middle. And credit to BV and Henshaw and that coaching staff. Like they were able to make adjustments and kind of realize, like, hey, this outside zone or this stretch play hadn't been working all day. You know what? Screw it. We're just going to go straight downhill at you. And that's exactly what they did. And Skull and Debo, that offensive line did well, other than the 2 false starts. But hey, we'll take just 2 as opposed to 4 or 5 So we're not gonna get into that a whole lot. But yeah, hey, second half was darn near perfect for this UAB team, and definitely give kudos to the coaching staff. And you even look at penalties overall, just 4 penalties for 35 yards yesterday.
Great.
And two of those we were just talking about were kind of iffy, the holding call and the defensive PI call. So you take those two away, and that's just 2 false starts in a whole game. And I don't think UAB blew a timeout. Well, no, I think they took one in the second
But yeah,
half.
we took one, but it was unnecessary. It wasn't a blow, you know.
Exactly. So yes, I'm glad you brought that up, Darian. Huge shout out to Bryant Vincent and this coaching staff. Got it done on senior day for these seniors. So super proud of this team and coaching staff.
Yeah, that's why I posed this question. You know, I'm like, hold on, let's calm down and let's think about it, because this is a guy first time being a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Period. If you think about this year, this season in halves, now he still has 2 games left, and I do think this LSU game is gonna prove something, even though, you know, more than likely we're gonna be out talented. But I'm wondering if we can see some of the growth of the coaching chops. Are we able to get our guys in position to, you know, make a game out of it? Like, ain't nobody about to lay down. You know, when I played. Side note, when I played against the Tennessees and the Mississippi States, when I played, I didn't care who we was playing. It wasn't like, oh man, that's when we about to lose. I was like, man, I'm about to dominate. I think this is a good chance to put on some film since they supposed to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show these scouts how I can beat their butt too. Like it ain't no difference. So as a player, and I know as friends and as analysts or whatever you want to call it, we look at it and say, well, oh man, they got so much more talented. But as a player, you're like, man, you're gonna have to show me. Like, we're gonna have to get on the field. So as a coach, you coach that game to win when we go to LSU. Coach it to win, because those players should have confidence in themselves that they're gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, side note, it just make it tough because I feel like he's grown, like what he was able to do against UTSA with a backup quarterback, and how much growth we showed during that game. I hate to go back to it, but we did lose. We haven't lost any game by more than 7 points.
Right.
But I felt like in those early games, especially Rice, I think we saw a young coach, a young head coach that didn't have any experience, that was blowing timeouts, like that couldn't get play calls in, that seemed indecisive, that kind of seemed he seemed very stubborn. He didn't want to make changes. It was always trying to like, I'm gonna show you this is our identity. We were gonna try to out identity you, when it's kind of like, no, we need to change what we're doing. It's not working, you know.
Right.
But if you look at the second half, we just talked about it. He's been good on his timeouts, and he's been very much more decisive. I was looking at that game and how we were getting those plays in, and sometimes we got the plays in, so we were able to do check from ease, and it was like, hold on, let's scrap that one. Let's do the second play. We were able to do that a couple of times yesterday because our pace and tempo. The only time out he took in the second half was a very necessary one when we was playing with house money. We was going into our own end zone.
Right.
It kind of made me think, like, and then I saw the piece that Steve Irvine put out, and it talked about how much the players love him and they want to play for him, and how they take personal responsibility for a lot of the games. Even though I get it, and they should take responsibility for Liberty. But I mean, I get it. But most of those games were coaching. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He was put into a position to where we were looking to win championships. We weren't looking for growth. But I mean, we can't have our cake and eat it too, because of, you know, the position we put him in.
Exactly.
But I feel like we have seen the growth. So it poses the question. I know it was assumed, especially about me, that hey, he's out of here. You know, like we were looking for guys, you know, the Kane Womack's, the Tyson Hiltons, the guys. But I asked this, you know, depending on how he finished these last 2 games and the circumstances that he was faced with, and how he's been looking lately coaching. I mean, I would still like to at least see a new offensive coordinator, like let them run it so he can actually manage the game as a head coach. But I still pose that I would not be 100% if that was the case. If we brought in a Brian Ellis or something,
Mm-hmm.
I would not 100% be against letting this man head coach again because of the growth that he's shown, the situation. When I take everything, I know this is it. I know this is not what I've been saying lately, or not what I've assumed lately. But once you look at the totality of things, and we still have two more important games to go, it's kind of it puts an AD. I don't envy the AD at all because it's a tough call to make, especially if a guy has grown this much in the second half of a year in the position that he was put in. It's just a tough call to make, and I think he probably showed a lot because North Texas was the second best team in this conference, and we kicked their ass.
Right.
And it was on the back of adjustments on
Mm-hmm.
the tempo and our coaches dialing up the right passing plays and no penalties. Like when the last time we've been this team that we ain't been getting these penalties like that. I know we had the false starts last game, but it's always like personal fouls and stupid calls that we were getting during this whole since the return. But
Mm-hmm.
we've cut a lot of that stuff out, man, and it's like it just make it tough. I know it was kind of long and I was just trying to explain the terrain of what I was trying to say and make it make sense to where I guess we're in a position to me, if we don't get the guy that we want, like it has to be the guy, I would not be against like giving Brian Vincent a full year is all I'm saying. I know that's not popular, but I think it's based on the 2 games left to see if that growth is real or is it just fool's gold? You know, I think he's really grown. What you think?
No, yeah, I agree that he has grown a lot, and I'm a big BV fan. Brian Vincent has been super nice to me at the facility. He's definitely shown a lot of growth just within these last couple weeks. And you kind of look at the totality of how this season and every loss, all 5 of those losses, you can say 1 or 2 plays go a different way, UAB wins that ball game. And, you know, take away the Rice game because I think that game was just bonkers anyway, and you kind of see Rice kind of sucks. So we really should have won that game. But
That
I
was
feel like,
bad coaching that game. So
but hey, but you go back to the Bill Clark days. I mean, he couldn't beat Rice.
true.
So last year he couldn't. So I mean, it seems like everybody has that, what the crap game, and I'll give that to Vincent. This is what the crap game. Coaching definitely could have been better. Stupid turnovers, stupid chunking the deuces up, going in the end zone and getting a personal foul. I still don't know what was going on in Debo's head there, but I mean, I agree with you. I think. Let's see what happened these next 2 weeks, okay? Because I was not expecting UAB to get it done. I'm glad they were able to get it done on the field over a really talented and really good North Texas team, and I think this is one of the most talented North Texas teams we've seen since maybe Mason Fine era. Because you look at what North Texas has done this year, take away the SMU game, really every other game, like they've been in it and they've dominated some of these Conference USA games. Coming into this game, the only loss in Conference USA they had was to UTSA, and that's a game they damn near should have won. They had led a majority of that game. So for UAB to come out and did what they did yesterday against a extremely talented North Texas team, man, it's got you kind of wondering, like, why haven't we played this way all year? But I think it's, a tribute to what you just said. Like, I think Bryant Vincent has grown throughout this season, and he's shown at least the second half of UTSA and this week that he can be a head coach and he can make those halftime adjustments or in-game adjustments. And Also, hey, it helps you a hell of a lot when you have your QB1 back there healthy on the field too. So that's something that people forget that, they were, if we had Dylan Hopkins that whole, I know you said this, Darren, if we had Dylan Hopkins out there the whole game against Western Kentucky, there is no way UAB loses that game in Bowling Green. No way.
No way, no way at all. We smashed them and FAU.
Oh yeah,
So
and FAU, man, that FAU, like, they're kind of a disaster too. Now, yeah, I know they just beat the crap out of FIU yesterday, but that's not a really good ball team. UAB, if it had Dylan Hopkins, probably would have won that game too. And you look at that, just 2 or 3 wins, you're looking at what, 7-3 or 8. I mean, you're looking at a different kind of landscape of things when we talk about this season overall. So I'm just saying, hey, if BV can go in there and get it done against LSU next week, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, by the way. We'll get into our LSU preview in a couple of days. But if you can go in there and just show me you can be competitive against a Power 5 team, and that's something UAB hasn't done since the return. Like, all these Power 5 games, it seems like they just took the game off and just rested their team, just play super conservative. If you can show me you can be competitive against a top 5 team in the country, a college football playoff worthy team, then hey, we might need to really have this discussion again. But I'm glad you brought it up, Darian. Kudos to Bryant Vincent and his coaching staff. So proud of them. So proud of these kids for not giving up on senior day. 21 seniors. A little disappointed in the crowd, but we're not going to get into that. But super proud of this team and program as a whole as they just keep battle tested, man. Like, they could have laid down, you go up 14-0 and you give up 21 unanswered. It's like, oh, what's the meme? Oh, here we go again, whatever, from Grand Theft Auto. But like, hey, no, they clawed back, made halftime adjustments, whooped their butts 24-0 in the second half. So kudos to BV, kudos to this UAB team. Let's go get 2 more wins, man. Let's go into Tiger Stadium on ESPN2, 8:00 at night. I'm gonna have a couple Red Bulls before I go into the stadium.
Yeah,
and maybe a few other things too. But
yeah.
hey, let's go in there and show the world. Hey, the way this team is trekking right now, let's show the world. Show the world. Let's go. Let's get bowl eligible on national television. And what a great story that they can talk about on ESPN2. Let's do it.
And any guys, like, anybody can tell you, like, coaches, they can tell you a lot of times you got to look at process over results.
Mm-hmm.
The UTSA game was that, just seeing the guys grow. I think the 2 most disappointing games this year has to be the Rice game, of course. I mean, Liberty with the turnovers was very frustrating, but I'm talking about coaching staff wise was Rice. I probably would say FAU because even though Zeno was in there, that was like a full week of practice, and that was not a team that was very good in FAU, and we still dropped that one, and we didn't live about. Those 2 games were the ones that's kind of like, coaches, what are we doing here? But to see this UTSA and this North Texas game, and to see us, those games were I was not expecting that, especially UTSA, especially with Zeno in, and we actually went up in overtime, with a chance to win that one. I was not expecting that. I was like, and then just to follow it up with this one, I know both of those were at home though. I would like to see these type of games at least on the road, so we're gonna be in Tiger Stadium, man. You wanna prove something, coaching? Prove it now. Like, let's see how much these players believe they can win.
Right. Like, please don't take this game off. And that's something that, I don't know for certain, Darian, but that is something behind the scenes that Bill Clark kind of got. There was a word around the country that Bill Clark and that staff took P5 games off. It's like, hey, just give me my paycheck and get out of here with no injuries and let's move on. Let's be real. I mean, that's what I heard behind, around the college football industry that's what you heard. And this is an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
Yes, exactly. And they can be competitive in this game. I'm not saying, I mean, if they went in and lost, would I be surprised? No, because this is a top 5 team in the country. But can you go in there and show something and be competitive? Because LSU's going to be looking at what UAB. Oh, UAB's 5-5. We'll just take this game off 8 o'clock at night. We'll go to sleep. Hey, if UAB comes in there gunslinging mentality and just effort mentality, UAB can get this thing done. They can be competitive in this ball game.
Right. And as a player, that's how you feel.
Right.
As a player, I'm not gonna go out there and say, like I said, when I played center, there's no way you could tell me that no center in the nation was better than me. I don't care what no analyst said or what blah 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 blah. I was the best center in the nation, and I still stand on that to this day because I performed. I performed when we played Florida, Tennessee, whatever. It didn't matter if it was University of Florida or FAU. It doesn't matter. It's football. You put on pads, you put on socks.
Exactly.
You put on your jersey and you go out there, you play. It's the same thing we've been doing since we were little.
Right.
And those are regular humans. We ain't looking at freaking cyborgs. This ain't the Justice League out there. That's a regular dude.
Right.
That got emotions. He got a mama and daddy just like you do. So you go out there and you play ball. Period. Don't sit out there and be like, man, this such and such team, man. I don't know, bro. Like, well, don't play.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you think you're gonna get whooped, go out there and prove something. Prove something.
Prove something. And look, you look at Texas A&M's got one of the most talented teams in the country. Look at them 3-7, man. Like 3-7. It ain't all about talent, man. Just like you said, they put their shoulder pads on the same way we do. Go in there with the mindset like, hey, UAB, there's nothing to lose. Ain't nothing to lose. You can't win a conference title right now. LSU, they're gonna probably be overlooking you trying to get to that SEC championship game, which they just clinched a spot in. Like, hey, go in there, give it to them. Let's ride Debo. Let's ride Skull. Hey, Schropp, you're gonna need to catch some long passes like you've been doing this whole season. Let's go in there with nothing to lose, man. Gunslinger mentality. Take it to them. Take it to them.
Right, and it's like, at least this is gonna be like the film. If you're trying to get drafted, it's gonna be one of the films they're gonna pull up.
Debo, it's your chance. Hey, it's your chance. You've been doing all this on Stadium and CBS Sports Network, but here you are. Offensive line, this is your chance. You're on ESPN2, the only game going on at 8 o'clock. A lot of people gonna be tuning in. This is your chance.
Go run over Harold Perkins.
Right.
He's gonna be screaming off the edge, Kadeem Telford.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Show me you can lock him down, because I feel like you're an NFL guy. Are you? Go lock him down. He's one of these highly touted freshmen that been making plays. It's a dude out of high school, man. Go show me what you can do. Show me. I don't care what the press say or what stars or whatever. They
and we don't care what Vegas. The line. We're recording this at 8 o'clock Sunday morning. We know UAB is going to be like a 24-point underdog. We don't care what the Vegas line is.
I don't care, dog.
No. If they want to bet on the game, let them bet. Shoot.
Let's
go in there. Let's take care of business, man. Nothing to lose. Let's go.
One of the funnest games I've ever played was when we went to like double overtime or whatever with Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember one thing I did respect about the Tennessee fans, we were walking off the field. They clapped for us. It was like, damn, you could tell it was like, damn, we didn't expect y'all to come out here like this. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like a good job. Like, I respect. It's respect. I thrived off of going into those environments to where it's like, hey, Death Valley at night finna be turned up.
Oh, they're gonna be drinking all day. It's gonna be, man, it's
rowdy.
Rowdy.
Yeah. It's gonna be so lit. So it's like, but those are the best games. Like, man, I like shitting people up. I don't know, man. Yes. I probably was one of those guys that thrived off hate. But I love just talking. It was just that, I don't know, the electricity to where it's like, you fighting. It was special to me. Like, everybody like, oh, man, the crowd. I'm like, no, those are the best games. I don't know. It's like something to play for. It's like, it's so competitive and so much passion. Like, you can't help but get up for it. Right. So those were the best games to play. You have so much opportunity as a player. You have a lot of opportunity as a coach to really show your chops here. As a player, when we talking about getting drafted, forget about all the other stuff. I'm talking about your future. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and they're going to look at this game. Go out there and show them that you can get separation on this cornerback that's probably going to go in the second round in the future.
Right.
And this D lineman, this linebacker that's screaming off the edge, you can block him, can you? I believe in you. Do you believe in you? Well, show me. Now
Exactly.
it's real, So I want to see us compete. I saw Arkansas compete. They barely beat Arkansas.
Hey,
I know Arkansas got more talent per se than we do, but I mean they were able to compete. We saw earlier in the year, we saw Notre Dame get beat by Marshall.
Yep.
And I turn around, I just saw Notre Dame beat Clemson last week. So I know Notre Dame was different, new coach, they had to figure it out. But still, Notre Dame and LSU, that's about equal talent. We got more talent than Marshall do, I believe.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is we got a coach that I feel like has really grown. We don't got nothing to lose. We got players that feel like they're NFL players. I feel like they are.
Yeah. We
got some ish to prove here. So I want us to go in there and take it to them. We done got off into LSU preview. I got fired up.
Me too, man. Hey, I hope y'all are as fired up as we are. But it's like, there's nothing to lose. Like, BV, come out there. Hey, relaxed. Hey, man, you want to go 5 wide up tempo? Let's do it, man.
Yeah, let's try some stuff.
Hey, yeah, LSU gonna be like, what in the world? What is this?
Let's just take it to them.
But yeah, just be competitive. Let's be competitive in this ball game. But definitely, hey, can't wait to see what happens these next 2 weeks. Just need one of them. Need to beat either LSU or Louisiana Tech to get to that 6th win for bowl eligibility. But Darion, we're 42 minutes in. I guess we will see you guys probably Wednesday morning to give our official LSU preview. Do we want to get into basketball a little bit before we go?
Yeah, I say this. I just
say something right quick.
I just wanted people to calm down. I know we took a ugly loss to Toledo, especially the second half after we played pretty well that first half. Man, we missed layups, and you can tell the team is still gelling. I do feel like the bigs finally found out who they were offensively that game, but like on sometimes our guards shot selection, they kind of forced stuff. They was pressing. I know Eric Gaines still doesn't really know his fit on offense yet, hence why he turned the ball over and he forced like a couple mid-range shots. Jelly can force some shots too because they're still trying to figure out, man, we got a whole bunch of transfers and everything, so we still need to find our identity. Some with our guards on offense and on defense. We need to find our defensive identity too because our help defense left a lot to be desired and everything. I just want people to calm down. Like, basketball and football is different. Basketball is a much longer season, much more games, much more time to kind of get those fits together. And we got Andy Kennedy. This team is good. They have the talent. And I know how hard Andy Kennedy coached those guys. Just calm down. It was an ugly second half loss to Toledo. They're gonna get it together, man. I'm a process over results guy. I saw our bigs figure it out. Javian Davis looks so much better. KJ Buffin looked like he knew where he was supposed to go. Ty Brewer, Trey Jemison, our bigs, they both look comfortable. I think Ladarius Brewer he knows his spot on offense. He's a 3-level scorer. He's the guy that he's not the most explosive athlete, but he can shoot threes. He can shoot mid ranges. He knows his spot. I think we're really still figuring out the big one. We're still figuring out offensively Eric Gaines and Jelly Walker. I know Jelly can put up points and stuff, but if you look, we need to look at the process. And sometimes those shots he put up are like pressed. Like, you can tell he's just trying to make something happen. But they're gonna figure out, like, and then guys like Tony still need to figure it out on offense. Tyler Beacham, all of those guys, our guards, are really trying to figure out who they are offensively. Well, not who they are, but where they fit. And so once they get it all together and in jail, and we can get our defense going, We're gonna be good, man. Just chill out. It's a process you got to look at.
And let's face it too, Toledo's a really good team, man. I mean, they're picked to win their conference for like what, a second or third year in a row in the MAC. I mean, this was a team that returned like 4 out of 5 of their starters from last year. I mean, so this is an experienced team, a really good team. So it's not, there's no such thing as a good loss, but this loss, like as long as Toledo does what they're supposed to do the rest of their season, like this isn't going to end up like biting UAB. And honestly, it was good to get this kind of early on in the season to kind of bring these guys a little bit down to earth too, because all the talk was like UAB, this is the most talented basketball team they've had in years, and high expectations, which there are high expectations. But hey, let's like what Darion said, if we can just figure out a few things, this team's going to be good, man.
Yeah, if you look at the game, it was, especially defensively, it was like so many miscommunications. We kind of struggle on crisply picking up guys when we're switching out. And then we struggle a lot on like help defense. So a lot of their drives are like completely one-on-one, it felt like. And they would get downhill and get to the rack, and it was like no kind of resistance met at the rack a lot of times, But compared to us, when they like you mentioned that this is an experienced championship level team, and I think that experience was on display because defensively, the way they kind of forced us to certain spots, and they sent help here, and they were able to scramble there, and you can tell that, and that's when we went on that long drought. You can tell that they knew where to be, when to be there. They were comfortable with each other. They knew their roles on offense. They knew how to play connective, defense. And they met us with the proper resistance. They forced us into those ugly mid-range shots, those turnovers. They forced those because they just knew where to be. It wasn't like they were world beaters on defense. They just knew where to be, and they played together. Give this team some time to gel. Like I said, we figured out the bigs offensively. They looked way better than the first game. Now we need to figure out defensively how to be sharp and crisp and connected. And then we figure out, okay, Eric Gaines, this is your role on offense. Okay, Tony, this is what you do. Okay, Jelly, this is how we're going to create points and space for you. Once we get all of that down, we're going to be a really good team, y'all. Just chill out, man. We ran into a good team with experience. That's it.
100% agree. And the UAB basketball team will be back in Bartow Wednesday night to take on the Presbyterian. But again, UAB football gets the dub over North Texas 41-21.
LSU, we coming for you.
Hey, we coming for Death Valley, and we coming
for the win.
Hey, coming for that dub to get the bowl eligibility. What better way? I mean, is there any other better way to do it on national television, ESPN2, 8 o'clock, to upset a top 5 playoff aspiration SEC team in their stadium? Let's do the thing, man. Let's do it.
If and do it, bro. It was embarrassing last year, Georgia.
Oh, I was at that game. That was embarrassing.
No, they ran up the score so quick. I'm like, what are we doing? Are we playing two-hand touch? Like, what's going on, bro?
Couldn't cover the tight end at all. It was embarrassing, dude. It was bad. It was bad.
We look like a D3.
But hey, let's be competitive. Hey, Darion and I will be back probably Wednesday morning to get you guys ready for that game in Death Valley against the LSU Tigers. But Darion, you want to close us out?
Blazer Nation, we're going to Tiger Stadium. Let's ride.